best stories were told a long time ago. There are great stories still being told today, by far, like Sinners, one battle after the other. I mean, my God, so many films. But I really, I always say to film students, yes, learn from your peers, learn from your heroes today, but don't forget to learn from my heroes, our heroes that taught me my stuff, and all of my heroes made movies in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Related question, because this wasn't as true for those filmmakers, but now I'm always curious when you're shooting a big scene, hated scene, the truck chase in Raiders of the Lost Ark, or the initial invasion in War. And answer this like I'm 5 years old. How do you know you're getting it? How do you know that what you're capturing on film is actually going to work on a big screen?
Only when you tell me it does. It's only is when I hear from the audience, and when I hear from the general feeling of how the film is landing, do I know that the things that I thought were going to work are working, or the things that I were certain would work aren't working sometimes. I don't make a lot of comedies, so I don't have that gauge. I don't like preview my movies because you have to preview a comedy because you have to see if it's funny. If it's not, you have to call it something else. You can't call it a comedy. but I pretty much think that's the most important test to the film. I didn't know what we had on it. I don't. Because I was underwater in that film for 9 months. Both literally and figuratively, I was underwater in that movie. And I mean, I did the best job I knew how to do with what I had available. And because of, the shark didn't work, if that movie, the shark worked, it would have only been half as good. If I hadn't met Johnny Williams, it wouldn't have been good at all. But I didn't know what I had until we previewed the picture in Dallas, Texas. In an Italian theater in Dallas, Texas. That was my lucky theater for like my first 4 films. And I took all my films to Texas, including E.T., we previewed Houston. We did all my films. And I didn't know what we had until the audience told us what we had. I didn't know what we had until when that little boy was killed on the raft. A man got up and I went, oh my God, our first walkout. I've gone too far. Blood coming down in the water. This guy came out and started walking up the aisle and he started running. And I watched him go out the curtains into the lobby. He was heading for the bathroom and he vomited all over the floor of the lobby. And I looked at that guy and then about 5 minutes later he came back and took a seat. And that's when I said, we got a hit!
I've got a 5-year-old who's very fond of going to the academy. There's a big chance to sit there right now.